Hi, Orange Girl here. This month's Mix It Up Monday is all about using embossing powder, and I'm going to use it as a resist today, but I thought I'd set it up a little bit for you how I'm doing it, which might be a little bit different than using a stamp. I'm going to use this as a stencil. This is a PI cut file that was a full background. It's a great background made by Danielle. And I went ahead and I put it in my Silhouette software and I took out some of the triangles so that I ended up with something that this is how I want my background to be. And so I cut it out on a full 12 by 12 so that I can just place it over my white cardstock that I'm going to use as my background and then use this as a stencil. So I'll be using some really old, I can't remember where I got it, clear embossing powder, which I think we have in the shop, and my Milwaukee heat tool, and some Versamark ink. So I'll speed up the video here so that you can see how I'm gonna make this happen. But you of course can do this with stamps instead of using a stencil. And here we go. All right, so I'm using my Versamark ink, just using it just like as if it's a stamp, basically, just flipping it over and using it on this as a stencil, trying to get in as many of the little crevices as I can. You really want your ink to be slow drying, so you wouldn't be able to do this with other inks probably, so that when you add this embossing powder, it sticks. So you can see how it's raised there and it sticks right on the paper. Then you take your heating tool, and this is going to take a little bit of time here because I've got such a big area that I'm doing this in, but you can kind of see how it changes color. It becomes shiny. You can't really see that in the video, but it becomes shiny. So there, I just kind of cut away there for a little bit so that you could see I'm at the end. Just going over a couple of spots there that weren't quite finished, and none of this is exact. That's what I was just showing you. If you watched my unboxing video that I had on Facebook a little while back, you would have seen me come across this page, and I knew from the moment that I saw it, it's part of the Dear Lizzie collection, and I knew I was going to cut those little triangles up, and I've just been aching to have some time to cut and glue some stuff and make it a layout so that I could cut all this up. So that's what I end up doing. I'm not going to make you watch all of it, but I actually do quite a few little bits of fussy cutting on this one. So Choose Crazy is a piece of, oh, what do you call that? I can't think of the name of it, seriously. Okay, so have you ever had a moment where you are videotaping and you get done with that segment and you turn it off and you realize you had actually turned it off and so you weren't actually running the video? Well, that's what happened when I first did that first layer of Heidi Swap ink. I just used the packaging technique like I am right here with the greener color. Both Heidi Swap inks, both very shimmery and beautiful. One is that kind of orangish, I think it's called peach, and then one is the citron, I think. And those were the two colors that I kind of ended up deciding to go with, along with that little bit of blue. So now I'm going to start gluing some stuff, well, placing some stuff. I don't think I glue it down quite yet, but I do know that I want some of these triangles to pop off the page. So I'm just adding a little bit of, it's just foam, like foam sheets, and I'm cutting them up and gluing them on. And then when I figure out, like this is kind of where I want things, I go ahead and start gluing them down onto the page. And what I've done here is I've used the clear embossing powder to create a really faint, subtle background. Then when I'm putting the ink over the top, it doesn't, as you can see there, that embossing fluid that embossing powder acts as a resist, so it's not over those parts. Now most of that's going to be under the picture anyway. So I typed up my journaling, and what you didn't see, or what you saw a little bit of, was I did fussy cut some flowers out of some of the 6x6 paper. I have one down in the corner, and there's going to be some underneath my layers as well. That Choose Crazy came off the chipboard big sheet. The Love is off the stickers, but I went ahead and put some of that foam adhesive behind it. And now so that it stands up. I think I did some of that with that which also came out of I think the came actually out of the ephemera pack. So I'm adding green thread behind in various locations. And a little bit of this, there's two different colors, kind of a peach color and then kind of a green color of washi tape that I add, and that's really kind of my only layer. I didn't add a lot of pattern papers. My thought was that I would in the end, but really all I'm using is I used the big sheet that I cut all the square or triangles out of, and I use the sheet as a background that you can see the very edges. What's that called? A border. Good grief. Having problems with words today. And then I use the flower pattern paper to cut some of that out. So mostly just fussy cutting, and then the border paper that I use, which actually I love the paper so much that I cut out the center of it. So I still have a big old piece of that left that I can use for layering or on other projects. So now I'm just kind of laying it all down. That's about it. I hope that you like this layout. I really like how it turned out. That Heidi Swap Color Shine is beautiful, and it matches this Dear Lizzie collection perfectly. The greens and the peach, kind of pink peach colors that are in this are just beautiful. I love it. And so, like I said, I was completely inspired almost entirely inspired by that triangle paper. And as soon as I saw it, I knew it was going to cut up, and this was born. It just took me a while to get to it. You saw me grab that flower paper again, but I didn't end up using it because I thought I might add another layer behind, but I didn't end up adding any more. I just thought it was too busy. So all I add here coming up is that Love is kind of a metallic color. And so I end up getting the, what are they called? The alphas. Thank you. The alphas, and they have these little dots all over them. Oh, wait, I got to tell you about this part. So I really wanted it to be a long title. And so the title starts with Love and ends with Crazy. But there's that little sticker paper up there in the corner that you just saw me put up by the Love. And then I needed the word Always, but I couldn't find it on any of the stickers. So I grabbed Always from some Tim Holtz sheets of words that I have, word stickers, and I used, and you kind of saw it, it was mostly off camera though, I used a little bit of gelato and colored it with a little bit of gelato and a little bit of water so that it was that same kind of citron color, and then glued it down. So I thought it was genius. It worked out perfectly. Now I'm just I added little dots that are supposed to be like exclamation point dots or periods or those sorts of things from the alphas to bring in some of that metallic color. It's kind of a rose gold sort of color, I guess. And now I'm adding you can see that package of, it has enamel dots on it, has a few stickers, and it has these they're kind of like brads. Some of them are wooden, some of them have that metallic color on them, and that's what I'm using. They're kind of a gold background. I moved that one of those like 20 times, but I ended up with this. So here come all the close-ups. I hope you enjoyed this layout. I really loved making it. It was a ton of fun. I have another layout planned with this collection that I just need to get in my room and get busy, that I'm just really inspired by this Dear Lizzie collection. I hope you play along with us at Paper Issues this month. Mix it up Monday using some embossing powder. Thanks.